What's up, y'all? It's Cecil West, Beyond the Harmony, beyondtheharmony.com, back again with the one and only
Jonathan Lippy,
and your lead correspondent from BNN.
I am Matthew Weaver.
And this is the question of the week. You know what it is. We come up with a question, we throw it out there, and then we all give the answers. I'm bringing something back we haven't done in quite some time. I think that this is a fan favorite. I'm glad we've kind of spaced them out. I can't believe we haven't done this one. But today, guys, I gotta know the best, the worst, your favorite, and the most important tracks from Uni5, the world's enemy.
Are we keeping it to the officially released retail Uni5, the world's enemy, or are we including the prequel and all that?
I'll let you include up until the iTunes bonus.
Okay.
But I think all that unreleased shit is just that. It's all unreleased. It's all other discs. I only want to know about the actual disc that came out, plus, like I said, iTunes, or if there's a Best Buy version that's got some song. That's it.
All right, well, we got some slim pickings here on Uni5. Actually, that's not true. I like the album's grown on me over the years. For best, and we created these categories because best means like, what do you think is the best produced from all aspects? And I think there's two tracks that are completely different that fit the description for best. I'm going to pick one of the two. I think the best song, not just because it's the lead single, but first wise, they all slaughtered it. And if there was just less chorus, there was too much chorus, but Rebirth is by far the best track on the album. I would like there to be a version with less Everybody Want to Sound Like over and over again. But if you look at the verses, especially Crazy Bones verse, and I just seen that video of that guy in his car perform the Crazy Bone verse. Crazy's verse on that is so spectacular, but Flesh kills it, Lazy kills it, Busy kills it, Wish kills it. I mean, they brought their A game, because also keep in mind, it's like a 3-year hiatus out from the previous album. And that lead single Rebirth, they were top notch. I mean, I remember I even tried showing it to like my old friends, like John. They're like, John, dude, it's 2010, bro. We haven't cared about Bone for like 20 years. Why are you going to force us through this? It's like, Bone's back, bro. So Rebirth is the best, but the other song though, I think fits the description of best if Rebirth wasn't so stellar top notch as Universe. Just the way that it was written and the way it was performed, the way they all played off each other throughout the whole entire song. That song was the most impressive, I think. But Rebirth was just it. If you take 5-hour energy, drive on the highway where there's no cars and you could speed, it's the bomb. Worst, there's two that are. I've said throughout all these years that Every Time is the worst Bone song that I hate, but I actually like a song even less than Every Time. Believe it or not, I would rather hear Every Time than Wannabe. I don't ever want to hear Wannabe ever again. I don't like that song at all. It's garbage to me. So I prefer Every Time with that repetitive, mind-numbing beat over Wannabe. So that's my worst is Wannabe. Although I think the song had to be made, but I just don't want to hear Bone talking about it. It's kind of like watching Rap Superstar by Cypress Hill. Like I was like, I felt weird with Be Real tackling that subject matter.
I loved it. I love that there were two versions. There was Rock Superstar. I loved all that. Keep going.
No, I thought the song was cool. I just think the subject matter is kind of like with Wannabe. The song might sound cool, but the subject matter makes me feel dirty. My favorite.
Do you dislike when Eminem complains about being famous?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That he can't even
preposterous,
take a piss.
Bro.
That he can't
What do I think of success? Yeah. You can't be with it. It's like, then why did you get into this game, bro? It's like you're complaining about the aftermath of. It's like cause and effect. Did you not see cause and effect? Favorite. We'll do favorite. At the time when it came out, Facts Don't Lie was my favorite. But as I got older, Facts Don't Lie, like the whole unique thing. I'm kind of over that now. So now I like, with an older, more mature feel, I think Pay What They Owe, only because I didn't play it out. Like Rebirth is probably my favorite, but I've played it so many times and I didn't wear out Pay What They Owe. So I enjoy Pay What They Owe the most at this point because it didn't get played out. And then the most important, it's going to be a tie between the three singles, Rebirth, See Me Shine, and Meet Me in the Sky. But I think Rebirth was I think Meet Me in the Sky probably has the most fans to it because it's part of that quadrilogy of the Crossroads and If I Could Teach the World and Change the World, Meet Me in the Sky. But I'd say Rebirth. Some might say See Me Shine, but I think Rebirth was that lead single, 7-minute long plus track. I'm going with Rebirth. Curious to hear what you guys got.
See Me Shine was long as fuck too. Matt Weaver.
I don't know, man. I don't think you guys are gonna like me after this video, after this episode.
Let's go. Those are my favorites.
So, I start out a lot. I feel like in like half my answers where I say I live in my head. I don't talk to anybody, and at this point in my life, I would go days without speaking to a human, where I was just doing my dirt all by my lonely, and. When I am going to go off the studio album, because that is what was released and that's what people traded their hard-earned dollars for, right? But I do have to point out that when it was leaked, or whatever you guys call the pre-whatever, never in my life ever gone from such a low or frustration or worry. Like, it stresses me out when I think Bone's not going to make another album. But when the cuts came out, I remember never feeling more redeemed in my life. So you can imagine what happened then when the studio album was released. I think I put it back in the case and put it back on the shelf and have never opened it again. But I keep all the, like, I have my Art of War CD. I have my, all the ones I bought when they came out, I keep. But so all that to say, yeah, I think you need to know that for when I frame all my answers for this. I think it's best, worst, most important, and favorite is the order we go in. I think on what's on the studio album, by far, Rebirth is the best. I always liked how, in my mind, I thought that the chorus done that way, it was really cool to go with someone else doing the chorus when I really felt like Bone, like I felt like Crazy rapped it, and then I felt like he just sang it like that instead. And I always thought that was a really fun way to pay tribute to themselves on it. I think, isn't there a version where Crazy is doing it?
I think
Lazy.
There
is.
Lazy
does.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was always curious about the change, if that Thin C came up with it and then one of them just did it and they were like, nah, we'll keep Thin. Or did Lazy come up with it first and then they were just like, I guess we should put Thin fucking C on this.
It does sound like Lazy Bone. And and maybe in my head what I have is that Lazy Bone was trying to put Thin C on. And I thought Thin C had a perfectly good voice. I didn't have any problem with Thin C. But that long of a song, it is a really good idea to have somebody else doing it. And for me, it is pretty close to a lot of the other bangers that they always start the albums with, personally. But I can't remember if Rebirth was on the cuts or not. I don't remember anymore. But for me, I think that's probably them at their best on the album, and the way they're taking turns like that was, I think, to me, the trademark of quality for that era, for them. But that's mostly on the cuts. Worst, I could go on all day on this one. Are we counting My Street Blues in Vegas? If we are, it's far and away My Street Blues defines everything that was wrong with Uni5 and whoever picked, not with Bone, but whoever had the final say on. You guys play that game? If you could kill somebody and get away with it, to me, it's always been whoever had the final say on Uni5. Out of everyone in the history of planet Earth. But I really dislike Wannabe. I really dislike that they chose to make that content. I think someone encouraged them to do it. It didn't feel genuine to me. And I don't need to hear grown men talking about that. But my street blues is everything that's wrong with everything about anything that's bad that's ever happened. So I'll stop before I get too negative on worst. I think most important, out of the 4 categories, this is the one that I probably am most, I don't know if any of them are most important, but I think the one that had most important to me is getting people to realize Bone is still around and we should really give them our money so they make more music. And that was probably See Me Shine. The hook and the beat had every pop or radio hit. I don't know the first thing about music, but it had everything you look for when something is catchy and it grabs you. And
shout out to Excel Beats.
Yeah, he's super talented. I was more surprised that one didn't take off a little bit more, and I was really surprised that they picked that. I think Meet Me in the Sky came first, if I remember right, and it looked like they spent way too much money on the video. But you know, I think I have to say See Me Shine. Part of me wants to say Meet Me in the Sky just the way it's so important that I don't think people talk about enough how they keep taking turns on Meet Me in the Sky. I don't know the right term for that when they're just going back and forth. But who else can do that? Who else has done that other than R&B groups, right? So as far as rappers, I think that's almost unheard of. And I don't think they get anywhere near enough credit for that. And completely separate from harmonizing. That's just taking turns rapping back and forth. But you know, most important commercial wise, it would definitely be See Me Shine. I don't know if I have a favorite. I think my favorite is just the concept of Uni5 and the song Rebirth to me is the title track actually for Uni5. I didn't really see how World's Enemy title. I mean, I guess they were trying to make a point with naming it the World's Enemy and that British guy.
Wasn't there a different name, or was it just Uni5 and then I think it was Uni5, right? And they added the World's Enemy shit late in the game.
Yeah, and they paid that British guy well, he better not have gotten paid, but I think that British guy got paid. Why else would he have said those words? But I think for me, it really should have been called Rebirth, because to me, Rebirth, the second I heard it, it was never anything but Flesh Coming Home, and then all 5 together again was a rebirth. It was a whole new chapter. It was a whole new opportunity. And I feel like 2010 was when reality shows, maybe they were already fading, but was that when Harmony House was supposed to happen? Because all three, you know, well, Bone Brothers plus, and then Flesh was home. I think that if there ever was a time when there could have, should have, would have been a missed opportunity for Bone, I might actually say it was, remember how bad the home footage was when Flesh came home? Like it was like a Polaroid.
Yeah.
And like
it was major ball dropping, the handling of Flesh's home. And if you remember, there was a lot of hype, right? There was going to be I think there was like a way to like watch the documentary on the website or whatever, but I don't think it was handled well. And I think there was supposed to be some sort of Flesh's Home tour or something, which maybe that happened, but again, none of it like popped.
For that tour, because they went to one in Oregon, one in Washington, and one back to Oregon. I was like, you guys are killing me. So I drove.
It must have been great for Flesh, no matter what.
He was very happy. Like I just liked looking at how much he was smiling. And how, well, actually, it might have been the better part. Actually, it might have been how lazy he was looking at his brother. Actually,
but, yeah, you've mentioned this before. Actually, you've mentioned that exact sentiment before.
That was an important Bone live moment, I think, for any fan. But yeah, and playing in Eugene, Oregon, it was like it was like I was the only. Well, it was like it was my own personal private show. It was pretty legendary. But yeah. So if I had to go with favorite, I would really just say the concept of Rebirth and starting out even though I said that was the best, but I guess I would also say it's my favorite of the commercial version of the album.
What you got, Cecil?
Just to answer the question of the order of the singles, See Me Shine came out first. It came out at the end of 2009. They kicked 2010 off with Rebirth, and then they did Meet Me in the Sky, and then it looks like Gone was released as probably a single as well.
I think the See Me Shine music video though dropped after Rebirth. I know when I look it up that See Me Shine was released as like a single a year before, like in 2009. But I don't remember
Maybe
seeing the
because of
video
the whole
until later
Excel
on.
Beats thing. I don't know that, but it says that dropped October 20th of 2009, and then
Yeah,
Rebirth didn't come out till February 2010.
which is
So
true. And I
months.
think there was like different versions of See Me Shine as well that dropped. There was like an extended and even more extended version.
Jesus
that
Christ.
so yeah, there's that.
All right. Best, worst, favorite, most important. First, I just want to mention that I thought it was absolutely fucking ludicrous that this album didn't start with the Ouija voice, and then we got slapped in the face with a 7-minute song and a 6-minute song. So I just want to get that out of the way. I don't care how good a fucking that killed me. The chorus, the amount of chorus on See Me Shine and Rebirth is it's almost like law breaking. It's so fucked. It's wild. It's wild the amount of chorus on those two songs. But let's get best out of the way. I think best, I easily agree. Rebirth is fucking it is really them shining, and despite it being a 7-minute song, because of all the chorus on it, it did really get you excited as a Bone fan. We were excited about all those cuts that came out and the fucking think tanks and all that and everything that we were hearing. So if you think of your first spin of the album, you didn't know what was about to happen yet. So when it kicked off with Rebirth, you were like, okay, because Rebirth is, it's a good song. They all do well. The video was great. And I don't mean great in the traditional sense of Bone. It was Rebirth, and it was supposed to be all futuristic, and they've kind of done some shit like that before, but it was kind of corny, like Lazy Bone on Listen, with all that weird 3D graphic shit going on. So it was cool to see Rebirth and see it like this. So I think that's the best one by far. I really enjoy it. It's hilarious because the very first episode of Beyond the Harmony, before it was ever called Beyond the Harmony, happened like months, not even, probably weeks after Uni5 came out. So it happens in 2010, and John and I just shredded this album. There was no positive to be said about this album at that time, except for, and we might as well just jump to my favorite. The only positive I really remember us coming out of it was Facts Don't Lie, which is my favorite track on it. And I can agree with what John said about it being my favorite at that time and the evolution. But I will say the reason why it's remained my favorite is because I do think that it's the only song on the album that truly sits in line with what Bone fans expected at that time. Like, it's easy to sit back and say, this is a fucking Bone classic now, 11 years removed from it. But if you think about it, we wanted 14 tracks of Facts Don't Lie. Like, that was the closest thing. And if it would have been like that, I think that this would have been a fucking smash in terms of what Bone fans wanted. So, that's my favorite, because to me it truly represents, what the album should have kind of been geared towards. Again, that's not to say that these other tracks aren't good. At the time, though, I definitely didn't appreciate them. A lot of these had to grow on me, but Facts Don't Lie was an automatic. That was an automatic for me. The worst song on here is from the iTunes additional tracks, and it is fucking Vegas. It's the worst Bone anything.
Can you give me one from inside, like that's not part of the bonus?
I don't know, because Vegas just reeks so bad that it just reeks all the way. It just reeks all the way over to it. And it's like a bunch of these things grew on me. I remember even not liking like Only God Can Judge Me, which I really enjoy now. It's funny. The subject matter of Wannabe is terrible to me. But the actual song and the melody and shit, I don't even mind that. I like My Life. I like Every Time. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Can you pick the intro?
Yeah, I was gonna say those interludes piss me the fuck off. I hate both of those.
We should find that British guy. Can we get that British guy on the show?
Jesus, what would we talk about? How you fucking
TMZ him?
how you help kick off a pile of shit.
So do you like more songs than you don't like from the album? Like if you count them up?
Yes. Now.
No.
Absolutely not when it came out. That's me being a real fan and telling the truth. Like when this came out, I fucking.
Do you remember? Was it that okay?
But a lot of them grew on me. I remember feeling like that about Resurrection too. Like Resurrection was an automatic hit for me. You know, I enjoyed it, but it was like it was different. Like it didn't automatically click on all cylinders. And Thug World Order, a bunch of that took a long time to grow on me. So definitely this. But now I enjoy most of the songs.
Okay, yeah, and so now, did you give your most important?
Oh no, I didn't do most important. Most important has to be. I would still. I don't know. I like tend to say that it's Rebirth again, just because of what Rebirth the song represented. What it meant. You know, there's always that we're back moment for Bone, right? Like it was Resurrection on Resurrection. It's the fucking Art of War interlude on the Art of War. Like it you know, there's always that moment. And I think that was Rebirth. And that's just that peak of excitement as a Bone fan was probably Rebirth.
Was the most memorable moment of the album Never No Competition? Like, did that stick out when you think of the album, or at least that song? That's like, and I felt like that was a pivotal moment.
Anytime I fucking beat anybody at anything, they gotta hear that line in that exact cadence. So just know that Cecil West has beat people at a lot of stuff, and they've got that quotation.
And I want to get you guys' memories on this. There's so many reasons why Uni5 got a bad rap. I mean, as Cecil said, there was no Mr. Ouija voice, but I always felt like people expected The Game Ain't Ready to be on the album. And I felt like that song not being on the track list really threw people off. Is that how you remember it?
Well, I just remember the whole thing being, there were so many tracks that people wanted that I just remember it being such disarray that the whole thing was fucked. I don't think you can put it on like one thing.
Because I felt like, sometimes a movie has a trailer and then some scenes that are in the trailer don't make it to the movie. And people are like, dude, I came to this movie to see that part and it wasn't even in it. And I felt like that song, The Game Ain't Ready, was the trailer for Uni5. That's just my recollection. I may be misremembering it, but like when it wasn't on there, I was like, man, I think people are going to be real mad about that. And also, I don't remember which era Into the Future was created. Was that from Strength and Loyalty era, or was that no? I had to be Uni5 because Flesh is on it. So I
think so. That was a great song too.
Yeah, I think people really wanted that one on there. And then
I just want to say, by the way, that I forgot that this was, and I had just listed it as a single, but I don't like the song Gone at all, which I think a bunch of people do, but I hate that fucking shit.
But do you think it should have been a single though? Like, what's the point?
No, it shouldn't even be on the album.
They should have just played See Me Shine more if they wanted another single.
Yeah, like what the fuck?
Can you imagine? So pretend you lived in the boondocks and didn't have the World Wide Web at your house, and you just went to Sam Goody at 10 a.m. when it opened on Tuesday, and you're like, I'm here for the Uni5. Give it to me. And you went to your car, and it hit you over the head with Rebirth, and you didn't know about the cuts. And then after Rebirth, what happened?
So you don't know.
Can you imagine being that person?
Okay, so you don't know that there's a phenomenal album being bootlegged all through Japan because they cut all the songs. and we just wasted a phenomenal album. So this is all you think it is. Like you think fucking this is what they came up with.
Yeah, like all tear, like my CD booklet would be all stained with tears. It'd be ruined, wouldn't be pristine anymore. What if that's all you had?
Oh.
I'm still confused as the difference between the special delivery and the Uni5, the prequel.
Well, the delivery thing I don't think is real. I keep telling you that. I think that was like a BT&H board thing or something. I don't think that had anything to actually do with Bone. Maybe Crazy Bone, but I didn't think it had anything to do, actually. I didn't think it was real. It was fan made or something.
I think that's an idea for a video. Like,
and now the other thing was released by like Thugline Japan, which was some
real?
temporary. Yeah, it was some temporary deal. I think that Crazy Bone made with Thugline, and they released all kinds of. There's all kinds of little bootleggy things that seem bootlegged that I'm pretty sure that they gave the temporary stamp to do, and that was one of them, the prequel. And there's two versions of it, red and blue.
Okay, that's okay. Because I'm not seeing the game ain't ready on any of these, and I remember it got put out on something, and there was like two versions of it as well. And I'm just seeing for the first time. Did you guys know there was a Thin C version of See Me Shine? I don't remember that at all.
No, I don't think I think I may have seen that written.
Yeah, I might have heard that. I've heard so many See Me Shines, like,
yeah.
You know.
So yeah, there's okay. So I got to find this red version. You're right. I do remember a Uni5.
I don't know if it's any different. I don't know if the track list is any different or not.
I think it is because I'm looking at these track lists, and this is not how I remember it. It's like on some Mandela thing. I don't remember Breakdown being on it. I don't remember.
Yeah, well, that was the thing about it, was there was just like a bunch of shit that didn't make sense on it.
And I guess Into the Future is just unreleased at this point because
it's something to do with that producer. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then here's another crazy thing is they had For the OGs with Chameleonaire. It really wasn't that good of a song, but you would think having singles with like artists like Chameleonaire, and then they never released the one with Petey Pablo.
I love that song. You know, I love that song too, the one with Petey Pablo.
Yeah,
and I also like the I Ain't Going Nowhere that Kanye West produced.
And you like toasted that as well.
Right? I like toasted that a bunch. I thought that was a great song. That's, obviously a Strength and Loyalty cut.
Yeah, so that's what's not making sense, because I also remember there being the ripoff of No Doubt, You and Me Always Together.
That was probably like clearance shit. That's on there. That's on that prequel.
Yeah, but I felt like that was from the Strength and Loyalty era.
I think so too. Well, that was made up of cuts from both.
And then what's really crazy is the Dear Lazy song by Busy. I always felt like that was a Strength and Loyalty cut, but it's impossible that would have been a Strength and Loyalty cut because Busy wasn't on Strength and Loyalty. Is that the response to You and Me, Dear Lazy?
I don't know, but I love Dear Lazy as well.
And then also Little Ghetto Boy, where it's a setup around here. What era was that from? Was that a cut from?
Maybe that was Strength and Loyalty. It's definitely somewhere in between these two, obviously.
And is Determination on either of these albums? I'm not seeing it in these track lists.
I think Determination was cut from this too, right?
That's what I'm saying.
And then it ended up on DJ Unique's album, and then the Lost Archives.
And there's a DVD that came with the Uni5 prequel, The Untold Story. There was a DVD with it. Did you ever see it?
Never saw that.
It's probably just live footage. What do you think? I mean, if it was...
Yeah, but that's usually what they do. They just recycle a bunch of shit, and then they'll take a bunch of stuff from the collection. Pop that in there. Pop Crazy Bone in there, rapping to Eazy-E.
But that's what I got. I mean, I remember Let Yourself Go, Roam in Your Zone. Like all those songs blended together to me. And But anyway, yeah, man,
Well-
Uni5, they recorded a gazillion tracks. I remember somebody put them all together, like the Uni5. It was called like Uni5 the collection, and it was like 50 or 60 tracks in like an MP3 playlist. But it's all lost now to the sands of time.
Well, now it is time to expand the collection of answers in the comments below. It is your time. We got to know the best, the worst, the most important, and your favorite from the Bone Thugs and Harmony 2010 comeback. Uni5, the world's enemy. Make sure you share this with another Bone fan so we can get their answer, and we will catch you on the next one.
Beyond the harmony for the fans we celebrate.